Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. What does a businessman,
an entrepreneur,
and a Marine veteran
have to say about what's going on in the world today? Join us and find out.
In 3, 2,
kick it! All right, welcome to another episode of Hardheaded Podcast. My name is Troy Trussell, your host this evening, or this morning. With me, as always, Mr. Matt Amos and Mr. Chet Sears. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I got some feedback from a listener calling you out.
Me?
Because our new intros, in one of them, you call yourself a Cajun. And you're not.
That's right. I'm not. Yeah.
You're just from Louisiana.
That's right.
Okay.
I just thought it would be funny.
It is. It got some attention right away.
That's good.
Right away.
I did that for the attention, and whoever.
Who do you think it was?
It was the environmentalist guy.
No, it wasn't Hank. It was Broughton.
Wasn't Hank? Oh. Beef. Well,
beef's got some beef.
Yeah. He's not a listener. He's like a guest host. He's in the guest host category.
Well, I think because it was right after it dropped. I just got a text that said Troy's not Cajun.
He needs to go comment on our YouTube channel about that.
I think he's just trying to keep it positive.
Or maybe go leave a review.
Bring it up in the meeting.
The meeting?
Oh, yeah, we don't have those.
Yeah, we don't. All right, well, anyway, on this episode, we're going to hear what is on Matt's mind. And we're going to do the top 3 excuses to give cops when you get pulled over. It's going to be pretty interesting. And then a good word from Chet. So, Matt, first, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind this week is I don't know if it's the new year and all the people that are dealing with the, what do you call them, at the end resolutions and maybe some
good year resolution.
I've got an update.
New Year resolutions.
Do you know what my New Year's resolution was?
Not to start a New Year's resolution.
No, I did. You don't remember? We talked about it.
No, I have no idea.
I've never toasted a Pop-Tart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I did it.
What flavor?
Strawberry.
Oh, I mean, but
that is your favorite.
It's still better warm. It changed your life, didn't it?
It did not change my life. It is better warm, but it did not cross the threshold into a good treat. It's just not as horrible as a treat.
I don't understand. Maybe I don't know. I grew up with
speechless.
them.
It's just not that good.
I think they're great. Matter of fact, I sent you guys a picture of me toasting one the other day.
I thought that was an ultrasound.
I don't understand how you could see a Pop-Tart in a toaster and think that that's an ultrasound.
It was black and white.
Well, the picture was...
And it was not oriented correctly.
Correct.
And you had a black and white Pop-Tart in there.
But I did know exactly what it was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But no, you can definitely tell that there's silver. And then you can see the brown. You can see the glowing orange from the toaster.
From the burners.
No.
Yep.
It's not glowing.
Sure is. Yeah, you can see that right there on the left.
No.
It's a glowing reflection in the steel.
All I know is it just didn't do it. It was better. It was you said it would be better. It was better, but
like a warm cookie.
It did not make the dry corners moist.
Well, it's not. Duh.
Have you ever had warm, quote unquote, Pop-Tart from like Milk Float or something?
I've had one from what's the local place?
Milk Float.
No, the breakfast place. Homegrown.
Yeah. I think they got a cease and desist.
They didn't, but they decided it would be in their best interest not to call them Pop-Tarts.
Oh,
so they're
it was
toaster pastry.
It was in quotes on their menu.
Yeah. Those are good.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah,
but they're better than the.
Well, it's real food.
Pop-Tarts. Yeah,
it's real food. It's not compressed cardboard sawdust.
It's like a real pastry.
I was told.
I like it.
I was told the very best
sawdust.
The very best of the very best of all the modifications you could do is to take the brown sugar and cinnamon, toast it, and then butter the backside. let it melt into the crust, and then eat it. Like, you can't get any better than that, is what I heard. But I have to wait till next year to make a new resolution. Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't even know that I'd try that.
I interrupted your you're talking about resolutions.
So anyway, there's been a lot of people dealing with a lot of issues, and whether that be mentally or spiritually or physically, everybody's dealing with something. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was talking about some of the issues that he was having, and he'd been back to the doc, and they put him on a bunch of meds for basically mental health. And I just got to thinking, what I don't even know what type of wisdom I can impart to help him out, but I got to thinking, when I was transitioning out of the Marine Corps, I went to this transition seminar, and it was called Simplify Odyssey, is what it was called, and it was out in Pennsylvania, and it was this big ranch that was owned by a Marine general, and he put together this transition seminar on how to adjust back to civilian life, and then he brought in executives from across the country, big industries that were looking to hire people, and really broke it down on what you needed to do to succeed once you got out of the military, and basically just how to succeed in life, whether you've been in the military or not. And one of the things from that course that's always stuck with me is the keys to living a balanced life, because a life out of balance is where you run into problems.
Okay.
So, and he started with, he basically just made it a triangle. And he said, here's basically what you need for a balanced life. And he goes, the base of that triangle is going to be spiritual. So you need a good spiritual foundation. And of course he's a believer himself, but in that seminar, to get the U.S. government to sign off on sending people there, you've got to have faith in something.
Okay. And
then the two sides would be, you've got to have a good mental state, take care of yourself mentally, and then physically. So if you've got a spiritual base and you're mentally good and you're physically good, and all those things are equal to each other. Mm-hmm. You can't have one that is superseding the rest, because then that triangle is out of order. So I mean, you might have a really great spiritual base, but you don't do anything physically. Well, you're not the best that you can be at that point.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to preach that a little bit, but I mean, the three of us know that a strong spiritual base is key to the rest of it. And I don't know. I kind of wanted to bring that up because I've noticed it in my life, and that's stuck with me ever since the day that I'm sitting there in that seminar, and I'm looking at this triangle, and those three words were on there, and then he explained it, and of course it was a 3-hour discussion on each facet of that. But that's how this whole seminar started off. It wasn't about, jobs and all this. It's like, here's what you need to do when you get out to be successful, to be happy, right, as a person. And again, I don't know. I mean, I'm not knocking going to the doctor and getting meds if you need a prescription for whatever, but I think a lot of that can be solved.
Shouldn't be a shortcut.
Right. I think a lot of that can be solved because with physical activity. I know a lot of people that's out of balance on, me for one. Mm-hmm. Right now it's out of balance for me. I'm not working out and taking care of myself physically as much as I should be. And so that part for me is out of balance. And, I know it's the same for a lot of people, but I do notice when I do start to do even just little things to take care of how much better I feel, even after doing it for just a week.
Yeah.
Something as simple as, waking up in the morning, getting ready, and then before I leave for work, doing, 30 or 40 push-ups, mm-hmm, just to get the blood flowing, get everything going. I feel so much better the rest of that day. And the more I keep it up, the better and better I feel. and then something happens, and then I stop doing it and get out of the habit. And then you're like, man, I just, I don't feel as good as I was. What was I doing? And then you're like, oh yeah, I was just doing a little, maybe walking an extra, lap or whatever it is, or making an extra, not just walking to the mailbox, maybe making 2 or 3 trips to the mailbox. And I have a very, pretty, not a really long driveway, but long enough that, a couple of trips makes a difference. But it's just the little things that you can do that can get you out of some of those funks that you're in, and it doesn't always have to resort to medication.
I was listening to somebody. It was actually a combination of different things, but one dude was just like, don't do anything extra. Like, don't schedule to start on the physical side. Don't think you're going to wake up and do 30 minutes of cardio or whatever else. If you have the opportunity, just park in the back of the parking lot at work, at Walmart, at wherever.
Yeah.
Park where you have to walk. And it's pretty interesting where I work. I have that opportunity to really push it way outside of my office. So I've been doing that for about a week now. Adds almost 3/4 of a mile to my day when I'm doing intentional. I'm just not going to take the easy close up parking spot. I'm going to go park somewhere else, and
right.
You get a little bit more of that. And then something else that came up, it was a study they did in Europe where they kept, so whatever it was that you eat, when you eat, whatever you eat, don't change it. You have to keep your running however you've been doing. But we're gonna take part of this population. It's a big study, and part of the population is going to get an extra liter of Coke or soda for people not from the South, and then you're going to get another population of this study is going to get a diet soda, and then another portion is going to get an extra liter of water each day, and then another portion is going to get an extra liter of milk. So over that, and they did kilos or whatever else, and I'm going to be a little off my numbers here. So what do you think happened to the population that drank an extra liter of Coke? Gain weight, lose weight?
Gained it.
Gain weight. What about water? Gain weight, lose weight?
Stayed the same.
Lost. Like to the same factor that people gained. So it's like gain 2 kilos with the Coke, lose 2 kilos with the water. What about diet?
Because water flushes everything out.
What about diet drink?
No change because there's no calories.
Gain 2.
Gain 2.
What about milk?
Stayed the same.
Exactly. So, and then there's a little bit more in the study. Milk doesn't make sense because there's some carbs in milk, all the other stuff, but it's basically it's not a sugar spike, even though there's carbs in there. It's not instantly transformed into your sugar isn't immediately transformed like it is in soda with the corn syrup and sugars and all that kind of stuff that's in there. So it's neutral. And I'll never forget a long time ago on the diet drink. I didn't read into that paragraph, but I do remember a long time ago. I think I was in college. A guy said, "You show me a fat person, and I guarantee you they're drinking diet drinks. You show me a healthy, fit person, they're not drinking diet, and they may not be drinking regular either." But
yeah,
it's mostly the unhealthy, overweight people are all up into diet drinks, thinking that it does them good.
Well, thinking that they're taking those calories out, but they add them in somewhere else.
I chose this to be healthy,
now I can,
quote unquote. Now I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was pretty, from a balance perspective, right? The how the way you think about your life as well, and what you consume, what you don't consume, has an impact on all of that as well.
Yeah.
Hey, I do the 30 push-ups. Now I'm going to go eat a cheeseburger from Sonic.
I can treat myself today. Which all 3 of us just had cheeseburgers from Sonic. So
yeah.
But
whoops.
Yeah, and then and a lot of these people, and I'm not knocking it because I don't know, because I'm not a user, but I think there's a lot of people that go with marijuana as a way to either deal mentally or deal with physical pain or something that they're feeling physically. And I think that a lot of times that becomes a crutch, and then you become out of balance because you're using something that you may or may not need. And again, I don't know. I haven't seen the studies. I don't know. I'm not gonna call it a gateway drug because I know that it's done a lot of good stuff for people. But at the same time, if you're using it as a crutch, it's like, oh man, I can't sleep. Well, why? What's the root cause of you not? Let's get down to figure out what actually is going on instead of trying to just treat the symptom.
Yeah, and some of it, we talk about gateway. Again, I've been reading a lot of crazy stuff. I don't know why. Have you been reading the stuff I've been reading? You going through my
rarely
internet search
will
history?
read because you're the one that sends me, hey, you got to watch this. And I'm like, nah.
47-minute video? No thanks.
Yeah.
So
Chet's the king is sending like
the marijuana
3-hour videos to your phone and being like, here, watch this. This is super important.
Well, if you want to be informed, that's
And then you're like, Chet, just give me the Cliff Notes, bud.
it's in the video description. That's all I've been doing. Every time you're like, tell me what that means, I just copy and paste the video description.
Well, good. Keep doing it.
It works.
Just go read the video description now. The marijuana of today is like 4x the potency of what it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So where everybody's perception was, everybody in the 60s and 90s and that marijuana, everybody just did that. It was recreational. It kind of took the edge off. Well, the issue with it being as powerful it is today is that it's more addictive. Like it's a different kind of high. I would not know. But
I would.
You have to go smoke some of the stuff from today.
I'm kidding. I haven't smoked any in a long time.
Oh, there you go.
You've got a base sample though. You know what the baseline is.
I know what it was, 18 years ago.
So anyway,
18 years ago. How old are you? That's not that long ago.
45.
Anyway, yeah, that's there. From a balance perspective, balancing your life, I've been interviewing some candidates for work, helping. I'm not high. I have somebody that's hiring that I'm helping interview. And one of the questions that I ask is in a way for them to talk about life balance without me directly asking about life balance, to see what their outside of work life is like what what makes you tick. And I frame it in a way, it's not invasive. You can answer it from a work perspective or from a home perspective, like however, whatever that is. And there was this specific group of candidates, and one of them was, 100% work. That's all I'm talking about is work, and that's all I'm going to contribute is work. Work is one thing that satisfies me. And that was like a red flag for me. Like, what is... You don't do anything outside of work? Like, and I don't get to ask those types of questions, but that's what I'm pulling in, trying to find out, do you have that balance? Is there and I know it's not the same three things that are in balance in your triangle, but at the same time, if you're looking for work to satisfy every need of your life, that's too much to ask for from an employer because we're not going to be able to do that. So I look at that as a red flag if you don't have that balance.
Yeah. I mean, even growing up, it's kind of funny. Just one of those things that I always remember my mom telling me, when I growing up, she goes, well, everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Don't overdo one thing and overdo it on another. I mean, just good life advice. So basically, I mean, that's kind of just what's been on my mind is balance.
I like it. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our top 3 excuses to give cops when you get pulled over. All right.
At Admiral's Pennant, our mission is to offer the latest and refined, high-quality masculine products and services to the modern gentleman, as well as provide him with the tools and products necessary to look, act, and feel confident in his appearance and social interactions. Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave.
And we're back.
Yes, we are back with our top 3 excuses to give cops when you get pulled over.
Why did this even come up? Matt, you suggested this top 3.
Matt got pulled over.
I got pulled over for the first time in...
Undercover cop in a dark green Nova.
Man, long time.
What define long time? Like year, like 2 years?
Oh no,
two decades?
At least 12 years, at least.
Okay.
And even then, I didn't get a ticket then.
What?
I haven't had a ticket since I was 18.
I know why you don't get tickets now.
Because
I'm assuming you didn't get a ticket.
No, I knew as soon as he walked up, I wasn't getting a ticket. But it's just it was just weird because my daughter was in a wreck just a week prior, you know, and so I'm driving her to school. And
You got pulled over with your daughter in the car?
yeah. And so I'm driving, and you know we're running late because she's like, well, I got to be there because she was starting an hour later, and she's like, well, I got to be there at 9. And I was like, okay, you know, so I'm like, I'm around and ready to go, and then I go get like, hey, what are you doing? You got school? I was like, get up, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought she was already up, whatever. So we were running a little bit behind. So I just kind of turned onto the road and I was like, all right, well, and I always, I'm in that like window on my cruise control. I'm like,
The grace. You're trying to find the percentage over that you can go without getting pulled over.
I'm trying to be in that happy spot.
Yeah.
And so I had the cruise on, you know, I'm just going and didn't even pay attention. I mean, I saw him coming from a mile and it was foggy, but I saw him coming from over a mile away. I didn't change anything. I was just, it was one of those like, he's not going to pull me over for doing, you know,
Whatever it was.
9 over and pass him. Whoop. I mean, he spun around, turned his lights on. I'm looking at Lily. I was like, you're just like seriously bad luck. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't dealt with cops in forever. And I told her, I was like, I just know this guy's going to pull up and it's going to be the same guy that worked your wreck and we're just going to get hammered.
Yeah.
And ended up, it was another cop and he came up, hey, you know, just let you know, you're speeding and it was, it's foggy and, we got whatever. And I was like, I got you, I'll slow down. I was like, I was just taking her to school and, run a little bit late,
Yeah.
And so I was just trying to get her there. And then he looks down, he looks at my, my cruise control because it pops up and it shows the speed that you're going with an X through it, and he goes, "You even had it on cruise," and I was like, "Well, that was so I didn't go over." He's like, "All right, well, as long as your insurance comes back good, I'll let you go." Came back, and he's like, "All right, get out of here."
Yeah, because he's
Slow
walking
down.
up on that truck and the Purple Heart license plate says, "Don't bother writing me a ticket."
Well, and then they look in, they're like, "Oh, he doesn't have any legs either. It's going to be really hard to give him a ticket." And then, of course, my who knows, my daughter's just sitting in the seat like, can't believe it. Of course, with her grandma, apparently come to find out, with her grandma when she's riding the car, "Grandma, do you need me to cry?"
No way.
Yeah. So she'll hook up grandma, but she wasn't even shedding a tear for old dad.
Good gracious.
Anyway,
awesome.
so that's what brought up this top 3.
Well, I'll go first. I'll
for
go
it.
first since I don't have much experience here. Just so you know, it's been over 20 years. It was before I got married. This is the last time I've been pulled over, and I did get a ticket.
20 years?
It's over 20. I've been married for 22, so 23 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had about the same good run going, man.
If it's at night, immediately turn your dome light on, your interior lights, and even if it's a daytime, signal so the dudes know that you're pulling over, and you have at nighttime. That way they could see in your cab. You're immediately letting them know there's nothing going on in there. They don't need to worry about me reaching for a gun. They could see what's going on inside the car. And you're throwing a signal that you care about them.
You're telling me the ways not to get shot. I'm just asking you what excuse you're going to give them when you get pulled over.
No, here's the thing.
I'm listening.
That puts them in a mindset that you care about them. So they can you have de-escalated the situation, and it's getting, the meter is moving from ticket to possible warning now, because this guy, he knows that I'm nervous about what's going to happen. Because, it's a burly looking dude in there that could rough me up. And, but he's turning on his dome light.
That's the last thing I'm worried about walking up to your truck, Chet.
Huh?
Definitely not worried about you. It's all in the eyes.
So
He has these soft, caring eyes.
roll that window down and be honest, but don't tell the officer more than he needs to know.
Be honest, Troy. I'm high.
Oh man!
And never answer the "Do you know why I pulled you over?" question with "Because I was speeding." You don't have. I do not know why you pulled me over.
I do not know,
I do not know why you pulled me
officer.
over. Please tell me, sir.
I usually say officer. I do not know, officer.
Okay.
No idea,
Number 2,
dude.
be overly nice and blatantly ignorant. And this. You know why I pulled you? I do not know why you pulled me over. Well, you were going 55 and a 45. 45? You've got to be kidding me. It was 45 here? Like, man, if I would have known, because I'm a speed limit driver. That's why I was going 55.
I usually set my
officer.
cruise.
I thought it was 55. That's why I was driving 55. I don't speed.
If I'd have used that excuse, ticket immediately because I'm lying to him.
I got a ticket when I did that. But I didn't know. I was honest, dead honest. I didn't know it was 55. I mean 45. And then number 1, and I did get out of a ticket with this. I politely argued with him. Do you know why I pulled you over? I do not know why. He said, well, you were going 35 and a 25. It's not a 25. It's a 35. He's like, no, it's 25. No, sir. I've lived here for 18 years, and this road has been a 35 for the entire 18 years that I've lived here. Did you know that they changed the last quarter mile? They changed it to 25. Well, when did they do that? There's no way. I didn't see a sign back there. There's no way it's 25. Oh, it is. They put a sign up like, it's a month ago or so. And I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I go to school in Ruston, and I'm just back for the weekend. Sir, I didn't see it. There's no way. But I've driven this road. Oh man, those changes come up, and you probably overlooked it. We're good. Just know that they changed the speed limit just at the end of this road. Thank you, sir.
Did they really change it?
Yeah, they did.
Oh man.
Yeah. So,
That's like
They set a speed trap.
well, that's like on 53rd. They changed those to
53rd and 119th. 119th is 40.
40. It used to be 45.
It used to be 45, then 55. And then when you got down to 21st, it went back down to 40. It is 40 from 53rd all the way to Kellogg.
Yeah.
Dude. And those cops are sitting up there. They put all these culverts in on these neighborhoods they're about to develop. And so they got the culvert and the dirt dude, they just sit up there and they're picking people off left and right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Probably takes you 20 minutes to get that far going 40.
It takes forever.
Yeah. That's
But
stupid.
the one I'm talking about was, 53rd as you're going east. Once you get past Mays and where you guys are looking, so it goes right past there.
When you're heading towards Valley Center.
Yeah. And it used to be 55 that whole way. Well, now it's 40 until you get past whatever the coves are.
Yeah.
But they've been pulling people over there, but people have been fighting it because it actually hasn't been changed on the books. They only changed the sign. So there's been a lot of people getting out of those tickets because they didn't change the speed limit on the books.
What does that mean?
So it's not all they did was put up a sign and said, this is the new speed limit.
Well, that's what they do.
No, it actually has to be recorded
Where?
in some file somewhere.
I don't believe that.
What does it
it's
say
true.
on the maps? Because maps will show
It's
the
right.
speed limit.
So
That's
now when they update the
signs?
not the signs, but whatever paperwork that the city has to put in to implement, this is what we're going to do and change the speed limit. Then it updates on Google.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
anyways, just kind of
That's
weird.
horrible.
I get it though, because they do change those, and there's a lot of people that fought
Yeah.
it and won.
So to do that honestly, you would not have to look at the signs. You can't look at signs from now on out, because then you'd be like, what are you talking about? It's 40 here. It's been 55 here. So, 15 years I've lived here. Oh, we just changed it. You got to be kidding me.
Matt, give me your excuses.
Number 3, Stupid simple. One of the most popular ones. I got to go to the bathroom.
That's a good. I didn't even think of that one. That's good.
And then if they really start writing you a ticket,
Just go.
That'll show him.
I guarantee you when they come back, he's going to be like, "Oh, you were telling the truth." You got to be prepared. I mean, is peeing your pants worth $150 fine?
I think you just, it's going to be on camera if you just got up and went right outside your door. And then
you probably get a public indecency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, and then if it's a really bad ticket and you're really speeding and you really got to poop, guarantee you he's not going to give you a ticket and you get a mess in your pants. I'm just saying. I don't see it happening.
You got to mess before he
Give me a ticket.
before he walks
Give me a
back
ticket.
to the car though, because once they walk back,
or carry a bottle of the fart spray. Just psh, psh, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
Number two.
That
should have been number two.
Hey,
there it
Ah.
Number two, man. I was in the groove.
Yeah, in the groove.
I was in the groove, man. I was jamming to my tunes. So this one kind of goes back to the last time I got pulled over, which was 2012, and 2012. I think it was 12, and I'm out driving around. I'm actually looking at properties where we were going to build the house, and I had no idea. So I had my Jeep at the time, and I had big oversized tires, and I think that they were they didn't correct the speedometer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that they were 5 miles an hour faster. So I was doing, 60 in a 55, but he got me at 65.
Yeah.
And so, he comes up and he's like, I pulled you over. And I was like, no, I really don't have a clue. He goes, well, you're doing 65. I was like, really? I was like, my speedometer was showing 55, and he's like, oh, some of these tires. And he goes, well, I was like, man, I'm sorry. I was just so happy to be back home. And
From my deployments.
And I was like,
serving the country.
I was like, everybody, I was like, this is so different than California being back home. Everybody's waving. So I was paying attention to like, hey, I know that person and I know that person. I'm waving. And I just wanted to pay attention.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, you're good. Just make sure you slow down. I was like,
Yeah.
I will. And then 13 years later, 12 years later, they got me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, do you try to? So if you're like in the groove, listen to some tunes, based on the appearance of the officer that's walking up, do you man, I was listening to Freebird.
change tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta
Try to
know
size them up.
you gotta know your audience.
Man, I had George Strait just blaring. I was singing along.
Yep. Yeah, you got to do that. Of course, the only place I get pulled over is the county roads. So,
Yeah.
it's very. I haven't been pulled over in the city in a long. Of course, I say that and I'll get pulled over, but I haven't been pulled over in the city ever. Other than when I was a kid, and apparently my car matched the description of a car that was going around shooting lights and stuff out of cars and
Yeah.
shooting up homes, and I was like,
No.
not me. And then number one, my headphones hit the
Yeah, I know.
mic.
I know.
Number one, officer, I got a real lead foot, and then
You show them that it's not a real foot.
it's good for a chuckle.
Bada boom.
So make them laugh.
Make them laugh.
Make them laugh. That's good. All right, my number 3 really happened to me. I said, I'm really sorry, officer. I did not see the cones. And I was listening to this. I was listening to this podcast and I was really into it. And honestly, I don't even know what happened. I'm really sorry. And I was just really apologetic the whole time.
Yeah.
And, I honestly did. I was being truthful. I didn't see the cones.
Did you tell him what podcast you're listening to?
He did not ask. I would have let him know.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one it was.
I was listening to this podcast called Back the Blue.
Yeah. There you go.
Then he's gonna go look, and you're gonna go liar.
He let me off though with a warning on that one, so that was nice. Number 2, my wife's having a baby. And if she's in the car, just get her screaming.
Then he's going to lead you to the hospital.
Then you just veer off.
Like he doesn't already have your plate.
Take another way home.
So our neighbors here in town, well, they don't live there anymore, but they were last minute, like baby number 3.
Hey, our baby number 2 was almost born on the highway.
Starting now.
Yeah.
By the way, if you have
Whoa.
another request,
Hey, Siri.
you don't need to say Siri before.
Why?
Matt,
Anyway,
What did you say to wake her up? That's
tell
crazy.
Siri to
they
calm down.
Yeah, didn't make it. Had to pull over and have the baby right there on the side of the road.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We made it, luckily, and I ran a red light in front of a cop, and he didn't pull me over. But and then number 1, you may have seen this on a movie, but you just
Bees.
get out and start screaming bees. Run around swatting at your head and everything.
That save yourself or whatever.
Save yourself, bees. Yeah,
movie
that's my
was
number
that?
1.
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy.
That's
right.
a great movie. That's a really good movie.
Yeah. All right, Chet, you got a good word for us?
I do. I'm not gonna. I had more to say. I think I'm going to save it for a different podcast and just cover the scripture here. Let me pull it up. Psalms 119 verses 9 through 12. How can a young person stay on the path of purity? By living according to your word. I seek you with all my heart. Do not let me stray from your commands. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Praise be to you, Lord. Teach me your decrees. I think a lot of times we want those things to happen, but we don't want to put in the effort. So, the teach me your ways, oh Lord, we want that, but we don't want to read the Bible. We don't want to memorize scripture, but we also don't want to sin. But it's telling us here that memorizing scripture helps us stay out of sin. How do I seek you with all my heart? Do you really? Like, you say that just because you go to church every week, or are you literally seeking with all your heart? So, effort, I guess, would be the good word. You got to put effort in if you want results. You can't just sit back and say you want all the results. And that kind of goes for mental health. That goes for physical health. That goes for spiritual.
Everything.
You got to put the effort in. And a lot of times we may think the effort is just praying for all this stuff to happen, but in this case, it's actually learning the Word of God, which you don't get through just praying. You get through reading and studying and investing time. So, effort.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.